Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I had fainted, unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, whom rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, all right, is a lesson, entitled, the good investment. The good investment. Okay, and we're gonna go into it, from a few different angles. All right, starting off, with the investment, all right, that the Spirit, has on us, to invest, into the kingdom, all right, of heaven, all right, the righteous kingdom of Israel, okay, under Yahweh Shai. We're investing, into the throne of David, okay. We've dedicated, our lives, okay, to forwarding, all right, the next rulership that's coming upon the earth, that's at hand to come, and this is an investment, okay. And in the kingdom, Lord will, we endure and we make it, we're going to get what they call a ROI in business term, okay, which is a return on investments, okay, or you might have a ROA, return on assets, okay, because when you're in the business, like for example, when I was in the steel business and we will buy new machinery, okay, and let's say, all right, we, say you spent, $250,000, $250,000 on a new piece of equipment, okay, and you acquired that equipment, as an asset, to be an asset to production. So once you buy that, okay, you're automatically in the negative 250,000 off that purchase. And what you do, all right, you keep up with the production of that machine, how much that machine is producing, and how much money is that machine making, okay? And based off the money, okay, that new piece of equipment is making, you subtract that, from that 250,000, and that's how you get the number for your return on investments. So if you buy a $250,000 machine, okay, and you produce, all right, 100,000, okay, in 1 year on that machine, well, that machine is still in the negative 150,000. Okay, you haven't started to receive any returns on your investment yet. Okay, and then the next year, as the people get more efficient with the machine, let's say you make 200,000. So now that puts you 50,000, all right, in the positive. So now you have a ROI, or a return on investment, of $50,000 on that piece of equipment that you bought 2 years ago. Okay, so now everything that you produce from here on out all goes into a return on an investment that you made 2 years ago. Okay, and the kingdom is so beautiful once we enter into the kingdom, because right now, we take losses and we sacrifice. Okay, but once the reward, all right, their return on investment is paid out in the kingdom, okay, it's going to be an eternal ROI. Okay, it's going to be eternal return on the investment that we made in this lifetime. Okay, if that makes sense. So I want to get Matthew 13:44. All right, and it says again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hide it, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he have, and buyeth the field. Okay, so this is someone that's going all in on an investment. Okay, which the kingdom is being a treasure. You see, when you look at something with value, you're willing to put more into it. Okay, and investment is not just about spending money. There's also time. Okay, there's also time. That's a heavy factor, with investing. You look at people that start small businesses, and you talk to them, and one of the things that you find out, with people that start small business is that when they was getting it off the ground, they had to put crazy time into it. 16-hour days, 7 days a week, to where they had to be, the accountant, the secretary, okay, the laborer. You see, they was all into that. They put everything they had, including themselves, into getting their business up and going. And that's the spirit that the Lord, has put, on his men. Okay, beginning with the men in these times, okay, to have that all-in mindset, to push all the chips to the middle of the table and bet on Yahushua. We see value in Yahushua. Okay, remember, because thing of value, matter of fact, let's get there real quick. We'll get back to that. Man, this is spirit dealing. This is 1 Peter 2 and 4. It says, to whom coming as unto a living stone, okay, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High, and precious. Okay, and precious goes into value. It's a way to speak about precious stones. Okay, and Yahushua is precious. Okay, to Yahushua, that's a valuable to the Heavenly Father. You see, because another thing, Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, he knows the time that he put into Yahushua. Okay, so he knows the value of Yahushua because he invested a lot into Yahushua. Okay, so the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, is precious. Okay, and to us, Yahweh Shai, is precious. Okay, and to Yahweh Shai and us, the Heavenly Father, is precious, it's indescribable. You can't even put a word on the value of the Most High. There's not a word, that we can think of to describe the value of the Heavenly Father. Okay, and we're all investing into each other, and we're all receiving a return on our investments from the Heavenly Father on down to Yahweh Shai, the Israelite man, the Israelite woman, all right, and the children, okay, and eventually even the earth itself. Okay, so you go into this word precious. What does it mean?
Strong's G 1784. Antimus.
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 All right, it says held in honor, prize, precious. It says valued. Okay, more honorable, precious in reputation. And that's another thing is, we're showcasing dedication, to this work, to this labor, to this ministry. Okay, what happens as a man, all right, our name becomes valued, honored. It's not a thing of boasting. It's a thing of righteousness, man. You see, and we understand it's not of ourselves, but by default, laboring and toiling in this thing, that dedication, consistency. That's what anything, there's an honor with any type of consistency, man. Okay, if you walked outside, your apartment every morning, you seen this guy, running, 3 miles every morning like clockwork, consistency. Every time you look out, you peek out the window, you just see him going by. He's been doing this for the last 10 years, Well, guess what? He has a particular honor, He has become, honored just for consistency. The neighborhood, there's a certain honor that they have about them just for their consistency, man. Okay, so how much more, as we continue to toil and labor, in His word and righteousness, man, through the ups and downs. All right, but Yahweh Shai, you look at His labor, when He came, all right, the dedication He had, the sacrifice He made, is a thing of honor, trickling down to the apostles, their labors and their works, and it made them, their investment, okay, made them valuable under Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. So our investment is making us precious, is making us valuable, okay? So you go here, I'll read verse 5. It says, ye also are lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up sacrifices acceptable by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right, acceptable to the Most High by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And how valuable is that to us? All right, that Yahweh Shai is able to present these sacrifices to the Father and they're accepted. How valuable of a man is that, of a power is that, that we have access to the Father through Yahweh Shai. Okay, it says, wherefore also it is contained in the scriptures, and that's why we have to value and invest into our relationship with Yahweh Shai. When we make ourselves available to Him as much as possible, that's a thing. That's investment. That's adding value. To our situation, that's adding value to our house as men. Okay, as we make ourselves more and more available for Yahweh Shai. That's a relationship to be invested into. I said, the investment can go, so many ways. Okay, it's more than just buying and putting money into something. You put time into a relationship. That's an investment. All right, and the biggest, the greatest investment we can make is investing in our relationship with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, okay, which is Israelite men dealing with Yahushua, man, being available, being on deck, okay, for Yahushua. All right, it says, wherefore also it is contained in the scriptures, behold, I lay in Zion a chief stone, elect, precious, there go the word precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe, he is precious. See, unto us, Yahushua is valuable, those that believe. And that's another thing, investment takes faith. Okay, for you to put money and time into anything, it's a level of faith that has to be there. Okay, so based on our belief, all right, we invest in Yahushua. To us, Yahushua is extremely valuable. We see the value in Yahushua, okay, before the world does. Okay, but guess what? The world is going to see it pay off. The world is going to see this investment pay off. Okay, they're going to see that eternal ROI, return on investment. Okay, a little one becoming 1,000, a small one, a great nation. That's what a return on an investment. Okay, for a man to become a nation in the earth, that's a ROI, return on investment. Okay, you see, and Yahushua went into that, which what Gidget says, unto you therefore which believe, he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builder disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. Okay, and the majority of our people, they don't see the value of investing in Yahushua because you don't get that immediate return. And we do get immediate returns, but they're intangible. They're intangible. You know, because you can't measure the faith, okay, that the Lord is putting, in his believers. You can't measure the comfort, okay, that the Lord is putting, on his believers, okay. The peace, as we begin to operate in his word, the level of peace that we have, you can't measure that in the bank account, okay. So we're starting, now to get, the intangible ROIs, but it's going to manifest to the physical, okay? And the world is going to see those return on investments of Israel forever, beginning with the elect, okay? Becoming immortal, that's a hell of a return on investment, Let's say someone's been in the truth 3 years and get delivered, and your return on investment, it's immortality itself. Okay, that's a crazy flip. 3 years for immortality, it's a crazy flip. What investment is doing that? All right, what stocks are doing that? Doing those type of numbers. Okay. There's nothing you can invest in this society where you get an innumerable, okay, return. A return you can't measure. Okay? There's nothing in this society that you can do that. You see? So, going back, but it begins with investing now. Okay? We're buying Yahushua when the stocks are low, and how do we buy? With our time, okay? And we, there's sacrifices, and, there are financial investments that have to be made, You see, we do have to put resources into this thing, okay? As we invest, in the phones and, laptops, and you see, brothers, buy the books. Even when we invest in our health, that's investing in Yahushua, because the spirit of Yahushua resides in these bodies. So even when we are disciplined with our health, because these bodies house our spirit, okay? So as we invest in our spirit, through the reading, the researching, the fasting, you know, the prayer, okay? We invest in these bodies as well, all right, so we can perform at optimal level like an athlete would do, you know? You see, there's a lot of athletes that invest, you know, millions of dollars into their body, okay? Matter of fact, I want to see if we can look that up. You see that? It says many athletes spend a lot of money on their bodies to stay in shape and perform at their best, okay? Including LeBron James, Russell Wilson, all right, Cristiano Ronaldo, David Beckham, okay? Venus Williams, Brett Favre, okay? It says Mav Carter says LeBron spends $1.5 million per year on his body. He uses cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, Normatec leg boots, etc. He also has personal chefs, trainer, etc. He has a strict routine and diet, and he does that for what? A corruptible crown. Okay? Not my boy. They said even Mr. Donald Trump spent $70,000 on his hairstyling. They trip. Nigga Trump. Yep, but back to the point. Oh boy, they crazy. But just to make that point, you see, everything is an investment because, you know, these athletes understand, okay, because he spends 1.5 million on his body, okay, a year, but he makes about 40 to 50 million dollars a year off his body. All right, so let's say he makes 50 million a year off his body. Okay, so he's getting a 48.5 million. All right, ROI, return on investment. Okay, you see, but they do it for a corruptible. Like I said, you can measure his ROI. Okay, that he's getting. You're not going to be able to measure the ROI. We're going to get those incorruptible crowns. Okay, the incorruptible ROI, return on investment. Okay, so you go here and Yahweh Shai, told, all right, like I say, we're investing in Yahweh Shai when the stocks are low. All right, and we're just waiting on that investment to hit. Okay, and we see it right around the corner. We see things trending our way. Okay, this is Luke 9, I started 57. Okay, and it says the cost. You see the cost of following Yahweh Shai. Okay, an investment. You got to buy in. Certain investments they have certain stocks has a minimum buy-in. Okay, so dealing with what's going on, man. So dealing with Yahweh Shai. Okay, and there's a buy-in required. And he's gonna go into that. This is Luke 9:57 says, and it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahweh Shai said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. It's pretty much like, I don't even have a place to stay. Even the animals in nature, the birds have a nest, the fox have holes, but you want to follow me. I don't even have a place to stay. So Yahweh Shai, on the surface level, that wouldn't look like a good investment to invest in someone that didn't even have a place to stay. Okay? And that's how the Most High tested Jake's integrity, because Yahweh Shai didn't come in a flashy manner. And remember, he came in the peak, all right, of the Roman Empire. I think at this time, because Augustus was a Caesar when he was born, okay, But when he started his ministry, you had Tiberius, was Caesar at the time. There was a Caesar during the time he got crucified was Tiberius. Okay? In which Rome, okay, was all about, okay, flash and clout, popularity and status. Rome, there's a lot of wealth, flowing through Rome. So for Yahushua to come in this lowly state, okay, to pretty much just be out there, just roaming and teaching, you see, and then Most High, he did it in that fashion, okay, to test Israel's integrity, man. But you had men that did follow him, okay, beginning with the disciples, but you had Israelites that believed. They sincerely believed in Yahushua, that he was the son of the Most High. And they followed, they started to make those investments. Okay, repenting, separating from Rome. Okay. So Yahushua, he like, look, I don't even have a place to stay. Okay. And we're going to go into another account that was similar to that. And we're going to see how that investment, paid off. All right. This is Luke 9 and 60. Say Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead. All right. Well, verse 59. So like I skipped, and it says, and he said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Okay. So he's saying to another, Jake, hey, follow me. And when you hear this word going out, that's Yahushua saying, follow me. When you hear the prophets, the sincere men that the Lord raised up to teach, that's Yahushua saying, follow me. And I want to see what this word follow goes into. See if it gives us some follow.
Strong's G 190. Akalutheo. Akalutheo.
Yep, and said to follow one who proceeds, to join him as his attendant, to accompany him, to join one as a disciple, to become, all right, to become or be his disciple, to side with his party, and to take the side of Yahushua. Hey, there's an investment that has to be made. There's a sacrifice, okay, and he's going to go into it, okay. To be a disciple, to be disciplined, there's a discipline, that's required in following Yahushua. Okay, Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury the dead, but go thou and preach the kingdom of the Most High. And you remember, he went right into a rulership, and the kingdom is the ROI. So he like, look, sacrifice, okay, you got to sacrifice that time. Because see, our relationships with our family ain't what they used to be. And it ain't about us being an asshole to them. Okay? It's just, that's part of the investment that we make in Yahushua. That we're not, we're not going to be around like that. We're going to be missing the action, And then brothers have different lots in this thing. You're going to be missing the action more than others. Okay? You're just not going to be there. Okay, we have an investment. We're dedicated. Okay, we have a commitment to our investment, man. Okay, so we're not going to have, okay, the typical relationship that everyone else does, okay, in the world. Okay, a lot of, we pretty much, you see, become very scarce around family, especially because even our family that we live with, sometimes, as Apostle Paul say, they have wives be as though they had none. Okay, so even that is not going to be the traditional American, okay, picket fence, situation. There's a balance, the Lord, do benevolence, in the house, and there's certain obligations that we have to maintain, Okay, but there's gonna be times where, look, we're not gonna be there. You know, we're dedicated to this investment. You see, so Yahweh Shai is letting him know the type of dedication that this takes. Okay, he was setting the standard. Look, let the dead bury the dead. Okay, let them handle those affairs. You got other affairs. You got a kingdom that you're investing in. You got other affairs. Okay, you see, verse 61. It says another. 61 says, and another also said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at my house. Okay, so Jake want to say his last goodbyes. You know, so Yahweh Shai, what does he say? And Yahweh Shai said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. And we want to be fit, but it requires, okay, a level of dedication to be fit. Okay, there's a certain level of fitness, you know. You can't just go and box, you know what I'm saying? You can, let's say you a guy that do, you know, you someone that does, you know, work out. Okay, you might, you know, run a little bit, you know, you're active. That still doesn't mean that you can get in the boxing ring and box 12 rounds. You know, just because you have an active, you know, physical lifestyle, that doesn't mean, no, there's a certain level of dedication that it takes, okay, to be able to perform 12 rounds in a boxing match. Okay, you can be in shape, you see, you can be healthy, okay, but to get in there and box 12 rounds, okay, you can be, you know, it takes a certain level of discipline. It takes a different level of dedication. Okay? You might be, you know, a standout athlete, okay, in high school basketball. You might be that guy in high school, okay? Well, it's a different level of dedication needed to play 82 game season. Good morning, how you doing? There's a completely different level of dedication, you know, that's needed to play 82 games a year in the NBA. Okay? So Yahweh Shai is letting them know, like, look, there's a different level of dedication here. You see, this is a different commitment. It's a different investment. But the return, all right, that's why you go here. When you go into Matthew, you see, there's a difference, all right, and going to camp, you know, then have to study, you know, learn Hebrew and, you see, put lessons up and watch the news, you see. See, there's a different level of dedication when you speak about laboring than just passing by the camp, saying shalom and going on about your day. You see, there's a different level of dedication. You know, all these channels, you know, you see, you know, all these channels that brothers have, where there's a level of dedication that's behind that channel to maintain it, you know. That content don't come out of nowhere. Okay, there's a level of dedication and commitment and sacrifice, you know, to keep these things going. Okay, and that's why, you know, brothers don't just cross over. Okay, you know, in 2 weeks, nah. There's a certain commitment and dedication, consistency that has to be shown. Okay, before even considered. You see, this is Matthew 19 and 27. It says, then answered All right, it said, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, and you go into the word forsaken, and this shows a level, of commitment and dedication. Okay, you go into his word in the Greek.
Strong's G 863. Fear me. Fear me.
Athea me. All right, Athea me. Okay, it says to send away. Okay, what I want to. All right, it says to disregard. All right, it says to omit, to neglect. Okay, to neglect, because there's certain things it says to abandon, to leave destitute. Because there's certain things that we have to completely abandon. You see, there's certain things that we have to completely abandon. Okay, we have to completely, forsake. You see, that's the level of commitment required for Yahushua. There's certain things that we have to completely abandon and forsake, to fully invest in Yahushua as we should. And each brother, is different. There's different things that certain men, have to forsake or abandon. Okay, but that's a requirement. Okay, and as we get closer and closer to the end, there's going to be more things that we have to forsake. As Yahushua, because Yahushua, all right, he's going to force, all right, the earth to pick a side. He's going to force all Israel, okay, to pick a side. Okay, either the MOTB or him. And following him is going to come with loss in this world, but gain in the world to come. And this is faith. It's going to take faith, because we're going to be losing tangible things, even people. Okay, but that's all part of the investment in Yahushua. We count it but loss, as the Apostle Paul said. We count all things but dung to gain Yahushua. Okay? Those things don't compare to the reward. So, when you go here, it says, then answered Peter and said, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. They was all in. They was locked in. Okay, you gotta think about it. They was with Yahushua all the time. Days on end. Peter had a wife, children. You see, family, mother-in-law. Okay, he wasn't around. He was, you see, he was available for Yahushua. He wasn't as available for them as he once was when he was just a fisherman. Okay, Yahushua was making him a fisher of men. You see? So it says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? So not only are they going to be, they're going to, be joint heirs, okay, but they're going to be of the upper echelon, even amongst Israel. Okay? And the disciples, they represent the first fruit. You see? And Yahushua understood the value of those men. And that's why he was around them, investing in them as they was investing into him. He was pouring into them. He was investing into them. Breaking things down, showing them doctrine. Okay? He was pouring into them because he understands, okay, who those spirits were, those first fruit spirits. Okay? Those chief spirits which, he made. Going back to, okay? Going back to the Proverbs 8. Okay? And it says, and everyone that have forsaken houses and brethren or sisters or mother or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive an hundredfold and shall inherit everlasting life. You see, that's the ROI, everlasting life. Okay, the houses that we're gonna lose, hundredfold, and that hundredfold is gonna keep multiplying. It's not gonna just be once. It's gonna keep multiplying. Okay, I think we looked into this word a hundredfold. So there's nothing we can lose on this side that Yahweh Shai can't give us back. Okay, 100 times over and over and over and over and over. You see? So, let's see, go to 100-fold. I think we looked it up one time.
Strong's G 1542. Hekat antaplasion. Hekat antaplasion.
All right, so 100-fold, 100 times as much. 100, let's see. And that's that 100-fold, and it's going to keep giving. You know, it's going to keep giving. You see, this is an eternal blessing, so the 100-fold is going to keep multiplying itself. Okay, because if you have, you know, those wives are going to be for what? To multiply yourself. Okay, and then your children are going to multiply themselves. Your sons are going to multiply themselves. Okay, but that's all part of what? All right, their ROI, return on investment. You see? It says, verse 30, but many that are first shall be last. All right, the elites. Okay, Esau, Edom. Okay, it's going to be the bottom nation in the kingdom for that 1,000 years before he's eradicated. Okay, so on the flip side, Esau, as he's investing into his new world order, okay, he's not going to get a return. He's going to end up in captivity and eventually eradicated. Okay, so Esau, he's making a terrible investment. You see, it says, but many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Okay, and the last shall be first. You see, and as we go into that word first, which goes into protos, all right, which goes into rank, you know, honor, influence. You see, so we're investing in our future rank, you know, as men. You know, when we invest into Yahweh Shai, you know, certain things have to be abandoned. Certain things have to be forsaken. Even this flesh, this lust, you know, we must decrease, but Yahweh Shai must increase. Okay, so we even, you know, deny ourselves to gain more Yahweh Shai. Okay, to invest more. Okay, you go into these investors, you know, they move things around to invest in things that they see valuable. You know, they will pull out of certain stocks and pour into certain stocks based on, you know, their projection on what certain stocks going to do. You know, they will pull out for these stocks and put it all in. You see? And this is what we're doing. We start pulling, you know, our time and resources away from other things and start putting it into Yahweh Shai. Okay? Which has which is projecting, as we read prophecy, the biggest return. Okay? So I want to get an account real quick just to show real time. All right? Shalom to you brothers. All right? And you sisters tuned in on the comment board. All right, but so let's go to an account real quick. This is 1 Samuel 25. Now this is the account with Abigail. Okay. Now, Abigail, uh, you go here. Now, Abigail, she pretty much made an investment. Now, her motive, was to uh, quench, the wrath of David at the time, as he was on the way, all right, to slaughter the men, okay, which her sons was going to be included in it, So, based on, the stupidity of her husband, okay, she had to intercede. The Spirit had to what she had to intercede. And David, even though he was wrong, all right, he wouldn't have been justified in slaughtering, okay, Nabal, and his household, the men of his household. As King David said, he was going, to pretty much delete everything that pissed against the wall, okay, which is every man, every son that Nabal had, okay, every male servant, all right. And why was he going to do that? Because in the East, they judge in a different way, okay. The Eastern man judges in a different way. King David was going to erase the legacy of Nabal off the earth. He was going to end Nabal's line, okay. That's what King David, all right, and this is before he was king. And that's going to factor in the point, we're going to get into it. But, King David was going to go in that line of Nabal, which he was of the house of Caleb, and he had great inheritance. You see? So David really, even though he was wrong and Nabal was tripping, how he handled David at the time. And David, did a good service. All right. But technically, him and Nabal didn't have no formal agreement. As David was had protected his sheep, his livestock, okay, which he pretty much saved Nabal a lot of money, protecting them from robbers and animals, because we know David, what was David's profession? He was a shepherd boy, okay, so now he's a mighty man, okay, he was an expert when it came to the sheep, so he was protecting Nabal's livestock while he was on the run from King Saul. Okay, so it's a lot going on in this account. So you have King David, who's pretty much an enemy of the state because he's on the run from the king. So basically, he's like an enemy of the state. Okay, factor all this in. He's an enemy of the state. Okay, he's on the run. He's pretty much homeless. He pretty much hired himself, which it was a good deed, and any Israelite man with sense would, it would be a no-brainer, reward that man. Okay, but let's say Nabal handled David real rough. You know how niggas do, man. Niggas be extra disrespectful to where you gotta, you before you know it, you've been to put Jake back in the spirit world, man. Niggas are extra, disrespectful. So, it's David, he's finna go eradicate Nabal's lineage out the earth. And pretty much, he probably gonna take the whole inheritance. You see? So, and he would have been, wrong for doing that. He would have been guilty of doing too much. Okay? So, Abigail, and the scripture call her, matter of fact, let's get Abigail her flowers. This is 1 Samuel 25:3. It says, now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding. Okay? And one of the things that made her of good understanding is she understood that the Lord was dealing with King David. All right, even before he was king, the Lord was dealing with him. Okay, and she didn't want him to ruin his favor with the Lord. Okay, all right, fucking with this nigga Nabal. Okay, you see, and she knew her husband was a goddamn fool. You know, and he finna get innocent people killed. Okay, so the spirit was on her to intercede, you know, and she put herself in harm's way, you know, because, you know, hey, man, especially men back then, you know, in their wrath, you know, they was aware of a much more austere countenance. Okay, so for her to even, you know, put herself in that path, you know, she pretty much put everything on the line, you know, to save innocent people. Okay, so going back to 1 Samuel 25, 18. All right, it said, then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses. Okay, so she started to invest resources into the situation. You see, she's taking this out of her inventory, you know, because she's the lady of the house. You know, the lady of the house, you know, will have you know, authority over the inventory under her husband, okay, of his goods. And you know, you see, and it says, and she said unto her servants, go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal, and it was so. And she rode on the ass that she came by the covert of the hill, and beheld David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Okay, verse 21. Now David had said, surely in vain have I kept all this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him, and he had requited me evil for good. So and more also do the Most High unto the enemies of David, if I leave all that pertain to him by the morning light, and that pisseth against the wall. You know, so King David was just, hey, David was finna go on a slaughter campaign. You know, he said by morning, won't nothing be left. Okay, that pisses against the wall. Won't no man, all right, of Nabal's house be left, because, you know, your sons are your heirs. Okay, but in situations, you know, you will have certain servants that men will write into their will, you know, just in case something happened to their sons. They will have particular servants that will be in the will, you know, to inherit, okay, their substance. Okay, but King David, he was going to eradicate all that. Okay, it wasn't going to be no inheritance. Okay, so him and his men. All right, and it says, and when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David. All right, on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, upon me, my Lord, upon me, let this iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thy audience, and hear the words of thy handmaid. So she put herself in that path, you know, as we, all right, as we speak up against, you know, this society, we're putting ourselves in the path of Esau's wrath. You know, we're making ourselves enemies of the state of Esau. Okay, this beast system. Okay, so she invested. You go into it now. 200 loaves of bread, 2 bottles of wine, five sheep ready dressed, and 5 measures of parched corn, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on. Now, this was before David okay, became king. Now we know eventually the Lord killed Nabal and gave Abigail to King David. Okay, and King David had a crazy come up. You see, and Abigail, she was there, because you got to think, she's a princess under King David, you know, but she made that investment before he was king. So when you go into, all right, let me see. Okay, so it says, according to the Bible, King David gave his son King Solomon 100 talents, or 300 tons of gold, to build the holy temple. All right, including 40 tons of silver. Okay, so let's look this up today. All right, so 1 ton of gold is 55 million. Okay, 1 ton of gold is 55 million. So you go to calculator. All right, 3,000 times 55 million. All right, which is 165 billion, and that's what King David gave just to build the temple. So you know he still had, you know, his reserves. And all right, because if you give someone, okay, let's say you're a contractor, all right, and you have to spend money on the resources, you know, to build a project or a house. Well, you don't, okay, give every dime you got. Okay, you got money aside just for that. So this was just resources put aside just for the temple. 3,000. Okay, I mean, 3,000 tons of gold, which is 165 billion. Remember, Abigail is on the scene. She his wife. All right, and this is how. And remember, King David was homeless at the time, and she made that investment. You see, she pretty much put herself on the line, to, you know, to perform a good deed and prevent David from, you know, falling out of favor with the Lord. Okay, and guess what? She received that ROI. You see, because Nabal was wealthy, but he wanted this. You see, he wanted this. Okay. And then even go to, well, he got 40,000 tons of silver. So let's, how much is silver? Okay, so a ton of silver is worth, let's just say $1,000. So 40,000 times 1,000, so 4 million, you know, in silver. So it shows you how plush, you know, that first temple was under King Solomon. Okay, well, guess what? And not only, you know, did Abigail benefit from that investment, but, you know, her children that she had with King David, because by what, those would be Solomon's brothers and sisters. You know, so she gave that one time, and look how it just kept investing. You know, she went into her storehouse one time, you know, in this situation, and invested that with, you know, with David in his situation, and it just kept flipping. When he came up, she came up. You see? And then by the time you get to Solomon, which is a generation later, because remember, all right, Let's read this again. Then Abigail, I read in NLT, Abigail wasted no time. She quickly got 200 loaves of bread, 2 wine skins full of wine, 5 sheep. All right, remember that, 5 sheep that had been slaughtered, nearly a bushel of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, 200 fig cakes, and she packed them on donkeys. Okay, so she put those resources into that investment. Crazy return. Okay, then you go here. So by the time you get to King Solomon, how these folks living by then? First Kings 4:22. And Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour and 60 measures of meal. All right, read this in NLT. It says, also 10 oxen, okay, from the fatted pens, 20 pasture-fed cattle, 100 sheep. You know, remember, she put 5 in. But King Solomon's daily provision now, which is who? The son of David, okay, and the brother of King David and Abigail's children. You see? And this was for his household. So that means that his brothers and sisters was eating off this. Okay? And it says, also 10 oxen from the fattened pens, 20 pasture-fed cattle, 100 sheep or goats, as well as deer, gazelles, roe deer, and choice poultry. Okay? That deer, you know. I think the brother Azariah, you know, he down here. You know, he was on that deer yesterday, man. You see? But this was a daily, you know, daily provisions. Okay? You see that? So you see, you know, just the constant increase. And by the time you get here, when they finish building the temple, okay? Let's go here. This is 1 Kings 8:5. It says, and King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled unto him were with him before the ark, sacrificing sheep and oxen that could not be told nor numbered for multitude. Okay, let's read this in NLT. Therefore, before the ark, King Solomon and the entire community of Israel sacrificed so many sheep, goats, and cattle that no one could count them. Remember, King David was homeless at the time. Okay? But one generation, remember, Abigail put 5 sheep in the pot to feed King David's men. But by the time, a generation later, the whole community of Israel is sacrificing so much that it can't, there's no record of how many sheep that they sacrificed that day. You know? And then King Solomon himself, he came back, all right, and made another sacrifice. Let me see if I can find it, of 120,000. All right, sheep later on that day. You see? Crazy. You know? But it was that ROI. You know? Abigail hit. You see? All right? Hey, to whom it may concern. You know, as men, we want to be those spiritual Abigails, making the investment in Yahweh Shai. You know? And hey, you women, hey, say, figure it out. Hey, say, put it together how you need to. You see? But yeah, that's I think that's the point. You know, like I say, it's so much more we can go into. You know, it's a lot. You know, it's one of my favorite, you know, topics to go into. But yeah, I think the point was made. All right. So, Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters, you know, or edified. Once again, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to the younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.